maybe sitting them in groups around a table rather than just...
It is recommended that a coaching session take place immediately after the lesson, while the impressions and opinions are still vivid and fresh. Using appropriate questioning techniques, the tutor is advised to encourage the teacher to thoroughly reflect on his or her practice and to notice the areas on which using the teaching and learning classroom has had an impact.
So, have you ever used a teaching and learning classroom in this format before?
No, but I've been dying to get in here just because I want to see from an outsider's view, even just stuff like body language. I've been working a lot at communication and body language, just trying to come across more confident, and it'll be good to see whether I've actually succeeded in doing that.
We've just watched your lesson, Dave. How do you think your lesson went?
There was parts when they were getting a bit rowdy, as you'd expect them to with the boomwhackers, but there was parts of the lessons where you could really see that once they were making the music, it just lit them up inside, and it's such a good feeling to be teaching them and just see the excitement when they get through the whole piece and they're giving each other that respect and they're playing with such good timing and concentration. Makes all the teaching worthwhile.
One of your focuses was on behaviour management. How do you think you handled that with the keywords that we were using?
It was very handy to have the feedback coming in when I was about to carry on. It was just wait for the silence. It was like, yeah, actually, let's wait for it. And I waited, and they could see straight away that I was waiting for them, and that brought them down. I think the added pressure of the cameras in the room quieted them down quicker, which was a bonus.
What do you think the strengths were from this lesson you've just taught?
The strengths were being able to continue teaching outside of the music classroom. Normally when you're so dependent on all the resources and technology within the classroom, it's very handy just to bring in new instruments or resources, but in here you've got to bring everything in at the start of the lesson. So I think the strengths were the organisation, just having everything ready to hand.
Personally, I think from the way that you managed to have such a practical lesson in a non-music room, and you gave them that 30 seconds of free boom time, and then you were able to bring them back down and refocus. Might be.
What about the use of AFL? Do you think, and what aspects of AFL you think were best represented in this lesson?
I think when the groups were brought up at the front to perform and the other groups could comment on guessing the tune first of all and then saying whether they played it at the right tempo or not, I could have gone more into depth with that, but I was running short of time. But just from the little feedback that they did get, I think the groups knew that they were playing in an alright tempo, and well, the success criteria was on the board from the start, and the pupils knew that they had to play in time with each other. There's a couple of instances where they were playing a bit faster than they should have, so I just stopped them, asked them if they thought they were playing in time, and then brought them back and we tried again. And I think the pupils then took it upon themselves to keep the time of it and knew how well they were doing, and you could see instantly if they made a mistake straight away or whatnot.
And now that you've been through the whole process, obviously we started by discussing the lesson plan, establishing prompts, working with Miss, and then today hearing the feedback. What do you think that the advantages for you as a trainee teacher, for anybody else that would like to develop further, would be if one decides to use the teaching and learning classroom?
I think, as well as the feedback from the observing teacher in the side room, I think just watching the video personally, it'll identify some key points where there'll be times when I won't even realise what I'm doing, and when I look back it'll be like, no way. And sometimes the speed at which I talk can be a little too fast, so it'll be good to watch the video and just see if I need to slow the tempo of me down, the speech down.
And also for those teachers that are a bit reluctant for whatever reason to actually get into the teaching and learning classroom and do it, what message would you have for them? Is it that scary? Is it that difficult?
Not at all. I'd say go for it. It's a real fun experience, just having the walkie-talkie like a James Bond style character. But again, I think the amount of good it'll do to watch ourselves on there, you don't feel intimidated at all, even with a camera inside the room. The kids, even after 5-10 minutes, I'd forgot that there's cameras up there. I'd forgot until I heard the speaking in my ear that someone was observing me from another room, and after 5-10 minutes and activity started up, you forget that you're being filmed anyway, so you can just continue your lesson as normal. It's only when you do get the prompt in your ear that you think, oh, yeah, I'm being recorded, right. But yeah, I advise it to anyone. I think it'd be a real good experience just so they can look at and just improve and develop their actual teaching practice.
And the £1 million question, would you use the Teaching and Learning Classroom again?
Yeah, I'd like to get something like that installed in the music classroom where the technology and resources are to hand rather than having to lug stuff down. And I think it could possibly be good for pupils to watch back if they've done something really good or if the behaviour's been really abysmal. I think it'd be good to show them on screen what they're actually like and just show how if 1 or 2 people start and it all escalates, how the classroom can get out of control. And again, also show the pupils how when they work well, look at the actual vibe that it gives the room.
Get the edge. This is not a practice restricted to teachers or teaching. It is a well-known fact that brilliant sports people request to be filmed in order for them to assess their performance in detail and thus improve certain areas of their performance as well as confirm strengths. If the get the edge technique is working so well for them, why not try it in the classroom?